What makes for an entertaining movie? Well, I like to think of a movie as a visual narrative, a story that draws the subject into a story. This usually involves two opposing characters, the protagonist, otherwise known as the main character, and the antagonist, the rival who opposes them. This is usually depicted as the hero and the villain type of scenario in a film. A general consensus is that most people tend to sympathize with the main character and want them to succeed in their struggle against the antagonist. But why do we want the protagonist to succeed? Why are we so endeared to his situation? My argument is because the setting created by the antagonist is so dire and the situation so unjust that we want the protagonist to prevail. Therefore, the more perilous the situation, the more we want the hero to succeed. Thus, the key figure causing we, the audience, to support the hero is the villain, who dictates the degree to which the hero must struggle. So what makes for a good villain? Well, I'm going to go through a few examples of some who I find the most deplorable, or in other words, the most entertaining. First, we have the typical action movie hero, villain. This is best summed up in the role of Hans Gruber, played by Alan Rickman, who is an accomplished British actor. This is the first villain that Officer John McClane, Bruce Willis, encounters in a series of Die Hard films. Although these types of movies can be played off as cheesy Hollywood flicks, it was the performance of Rickman that propped up the movie and paved the way for the movies that followed. In his role, Rickman did not use his physical stature or any other intimidating approach. Instead, he employed a cool, calm, and calculated demeanor. He also, as a criminal mastermind, seemed markedly more intelligent than his counterpart, Officer John McClane. This made the situation more hopeless for the main character to triumph. Although this is a movie villain in its most simplest form, it shows what can be done with an otherwise mediocre movie script. A departure from the run-of-the-mill action flick, which I previously talked about, is a classical Academy Award epic. For me, this is most exemplified in the modern-day film Gladiator. Here, the hero we all come to know, Maximus, is played by Russell Crowe. And a hero who is exemplified in a classical sense. He is brave, loyal, modest. Although his traits alone are not enough to prop up the movie. Instead, he needs a character to test these traits. This character is embodied in the villain Commodius, played by Joaquin Phoenix, a spoiled son of the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who then murders his father to become the emperor. An interesting point to this character is we see his inward torment as he pleads with his father, who rejects him as an heir to the throne. We see his transition from an entitled self-assumed heir to the throne to an unrelenting power-hungry dictator, to the point where he drives himself insane. I feel this is a more dynamic character, in that he challenges the moral fabric of the main character, Maximus. He also seems like an impossible force to overcome in both his stature as emperor and his ill regard for anybody who stands in his way. Although Commodius shows a character who transitions into insanity, there are those villains who are insane to begin with. The best example is the character of the Joker in the Batman series. First played by Jack Nicholson and then masterfully redone by Heath Ledger. The character is one who sees no boundary between good and bad. He's motivated by chaos and creating as much anarchy as possible. This is the perfect antagonist to the character of Batman, who is supposed to be the moral order seeking out justice against those who defy the rules of love. The character of the Joker was interesting because he tried to test the will of the characters in the movie. He succeeds by turning the virtuous attorney Harvey Dent into the Two-Face, a character who has lost the ability of determining free will. in making decisions, causing him to lose the faith in the legal system. Although he is eventually defeated in the end, it causes the Batman to break a few rules in the process. But most notably, he causes the Batman to transform himself into a virtuous character into the Dark Knight, where the Batman is forced to be used as a scapegoat for the Joker's crimes in order to appease the public at large. I have outlined a few of the personalities that a villain can possess, but in reality there are many. There are many. Also, antagonists can take on much smaller roles as well. Whatever the scale of the role, the important trait is that they have the ability to challenge the main character, create a situation of dire consequence that has to be overcome. So the next time you go to the movie store, don't ask yourself who's playing the lead. Ask who's the main troublemaker of the movie. Thank you.